They bring in Dialga. You know what that means? We're going for the nuke here. Is this going to get the shield? Boom! There it is. So, is the opponent going to go for the nuke here or bait me? I call it. Boom! That's a shield. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Amy, KJ, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at the Master League Classic. Now, I know last time Master League was around, I was not able to cover Master League because the queues were so bad at my elo. But this time, we've dropped down quite a bit. We're in the 2900s, like mid 2900s, so the queues are still pretty bad. If you look at the screen right now, you could actually see that this is not a freeze frame. This is the queue trying to find the battle at real time, and it takes quite a while to find a battle here in Master League Classic. So taking a look at the team that we will be using for this video, it is a pretty hard counter to Dialga, Anti-Dialga team I like to say. It has Groudon in the lead with Melmetal in the back, so two hard counters for Dialga right off the bat. And then we got Mewtwo in the middle, operating as a safe swap with Focus Blast. Now, for the purpose of this team, I do think that Mewtwo with Shadow Ball would probably work better with this specific team comp, just because as a safe switch, I think Shadow Ball is better for coverage. If you look at this team, the main weakness is going to be Giratina, right? Both Origin and Altered. Having Shadow Ball will benefit Mewtwo a lot more for that situation, and since we counter Dialga so well already, Focus Blast isn't as necessary. Now, with that said, you're going to see some clips in this video where Focus Blast does come through pretty clutch, get some one-hit KOs, but Shadow Ball would still be pretty nice. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you smash that like button. It helps the channel grow. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so before we jump into these battles, let me just say again, I have not played Master League Classic in quite a while, so there will be some rust to be expected in these battles. I will make some mistakes, but it is a learning process. Relearning a lot of these matchups, it will come over time as the battles progress. We got a Dialga lead here in the first match. You can see I'm going instantly for the Earthquake here. Thing to note about this matchup, if you go straight Fire Punch and shield the Groudon, you are going to win this. Just going straight Fire Punch, but the Earthquake is pretty much the nuke. Now, once they shield the first Earthquake, if I go for the second Earthquake and they do shield again, I'm actually going to lose this matchup because you cannot get to 3 Earthquakes. So at the time of this, I did not remember that. So I did go for the second Earthquake. It did get the shield, and I thought maybe I could get to the third one, but as you can see, you cannot. And that cost me getting off that extra Fire Punch damage. So what is the lesson here? If you go straight Earthquake the first 2 times, definitely do not try going for a third because you cannot reach it. So I bring in the Melmetal here, obviously another great counter. I do shield the Draco Meteor, not necessary, but I want to keep health on this Melmetal just in case they have something else that's weak to it in the back, like a Togekiss, for example. So this time the second Draco Meteor comes through. At this point I realized their attack is so lowered that I could actually switch into my Mewtwo, bank all that energy, and they swap out into Melmetal. So you know what this means? Melmetal coming in, shields down, Focus Blast is in one-shot territory, so I'm going to build up for that, overfarm slightly just above it, go for the Focus Blast here. This is going to do a lot of damage. Boom! There it is, one-hit KO, bye-bye Melmetal. What is going to come back in? Will it be the Dialga or will it be their third Pokemon? It's actually Giratina Origin. So this makes you wonder, why did they not switch into the Giratina in the first place instead of the Melmetal? I think the reason the opponent didn't switch there was because they may have put me on having Shadow Ball instead of Focus Blast. If that was the case, I had such a huge energy lead that Mewtwo would actually beat Giratina there, and I was in a really good spot. Now they took a chance, they selected wrong because I did have Focus Blast, so it worked out really well for me. I come in here with the Melmetal, I have energy stored, have to throw back-to-back Rock Slides here to get rid of this Giratina, and then the Dialga doesn't come back in. It should be drawing energy, and I'm very close to a superpower. This is going to knock out the Dialga, and you could see there, even though we did give up Switch in the lead matchup, because we maintained a shield advantage, we were able to take that game through the strength of Mewtwo in the back. Monty 77 here in match number 2. And this time we were leading Groudon, we're being met by a Melmetal. So this is an even better lead than Dialga. This is the best lead you could see with Groudon. Opponent immediately swaps out and they bring in Dialga, which of course isn't the best counter. So what I'm going to do here is build up for an Earthquake, then bait with Fire Punch, because this Earthquake would KO, so I have to shield, and now I'm going to swap out into Melmetal, because again, this is a very hard counter for Dialga, and I want to keep the Groudon for the Melmetal, because Groudon absolutely walls the Melmetal basically. So at this point here, I'm going to take this move because they already did burn one shield, so I should be able to get to enough superpowers to win this, even if they do decide to go down 2 shields here. And superpower, you can see, almost does knock out. I was considering going for the farm down here, but didn't think I would make it. So I'm just going to go for the rock slide immediately, get this Dialga out of the way, and now expect the Melmetal most likely to come back in. Now the problem here is that once I throw this second superpower, my defense is going to be so low to the point that they can't commit to the farm down with Thunder Shock, which is going to give them a lot of energy, of course. And I do get to a second superpower, so this is actually going to put them very close to the red. And then, even though they're going to have all this energy stored, it really isn't going to do anything to Groudon. So I'm in a very good position here. They're going to be forced to switch out. They bring in Dragonite. I tried to land this Fire Punch onto the Melmetal to force their last shield since they had so much energy, but they made a great swap into Dragonite to catch that energy. Bring in Mewtwo. Very good matchup. Because we have a shield advantage, this is pretty much game over here. And this is the 2-0 Butters team with Dialga, Melmetal, Dragonite actually. So gonna go for the Side Strike here. It's going to get the last shield. Next Side Strike would pretty much KO. Then we have Groudon into Melmetal in the back. Pretty much GG's. Nothing the opponent can do there. They back out. Bluenardo here in match number 3. And we're going to be leading Groudon into Dialga. So you could see here this Groudon lead performing very, very well. Opponent switched out into Mewtwo. At this point I was thinking, what do I want to do here? Because if this Mewtwo has Shadow Ball and an energy lead, I can't really bring in my own Mewtwo, right? Can't really bring in Melmetal because it's not the greatest counter against an energy lead Mewtwo. So I figured since I have a slight energy lead on Groudon, that's probably my best course of action to stay in here. So I do successfully bait with the Fire Punch. And now I know this next Side Strike isn't going to knock me out, so I could afford to let one go through and now commit to 2 Earthquakes. And Earthquake will be enough to KO, so if they do shield this, all I have to do is shield the next Side Strike. That's going to allow me to get to the next Earthquake. They shouldn't be able to swap out yet, I think. And look at this, they actually don't go for the Side Strike. They allow me to get to the second Earthquake, which is going to knock them out before they throw a move. So not sure what their plan was there, but I get to save my shield as a result. Now I line up this Melmetal onto the Dialga here. And I'm gonna have to even move here. I'm probably not gonna shield this up, even if it is a Draco Meteor Thunder. And it is shields down, so they do swap out to Groudon. Gonna come in with Mewtwo here. Mewtwo with a shield advantage. Absolute beast against Groudon. 2 Side Strikes is going to be overkill here. So I just have to shield up the first move. Even though they do bait with the Fire Punch, I'm going to be able to outpace it to 2 Side Strikes, so I don't have to worry about the Earthquake coming through. Side Strike comes. Second Side Strike going to come through here. This will be enough to knock out the Groudon. And at this point, it's pretty much GG's. The opponent's going to come back into Dialga. I'm going to force them to throw energy because if they do not, I'm going to get to the Focus Blast. So they either have to commit to the farm down, hope I don't have Focus Blast, or throw their energy before I can get to Focus Blast. Focus Blast comes through, boom, there it is, knocks out the Dialga, and we are off to a 3-0 start here with this Anti-Dialga team. ReluctantSnarer here in match number 4. We got Groudon, it's Togekiss. This is one of the worst leads in the game. So the thing is, you can win in the 1 shield going straight Fire Punch if you do not allow a single charm to come through. Now I was debating what to switch into here, and I decided to go with Melmetal. That's a mistake, and let me explain why, since we're stuck in this horrible matchup here that I cannot win. Basically, Mewtwo's main purpose in Master League Classic is operating as a safe switch. It's pretty much the best safe switch, and oftentimes it can win back a lot of lost leads. So there's really no point for me to bring in Melmetal here when the main purpose of Mewtwo is to come into a match like that where I lose the lead hard and try to win back switch advantage. The other thing is that Melmetal is pretty much my best counter for that Togekiss, so there's no real reason for me to give it up immediately right here. I should have brought in the Mewtwo. If they decide to, they wouldn't come with Groudon obviously, but if they did, I could have won switch back there most likely. And we would have maybe seen what their third Pokemon was instead. Now I come in with Groudon, they do shield, which I was not expecting, and they swap out into Giratina Origin. So at this point, I have a big energy lead. I'm going to go for the Earthquake again, and the opponent's going to let this go through. Now, I know this is going to be a bait with Omniswin, but in case it is a Shadow Ball, I have to shield it up knowing I can't get to this Earthquake, apply pressure here. So here's where I make a mistake. I go for Fire Punch, and this is a huge mistake because there's no reason for the opponent to shield their Giratina here, knowing that the Togekiss in the back is going to have such a good match against Groudon. So I wasn't thinking in the moment, obviously why would they shield if they have Togekiss in the back? So I end up letting the Groudon go down. The Giratina is still alive, and because of that, it's going to get to a move here, which is going to force my final shield, which is worst case scenario because I need that final shield to have any chance against Togekiss here. The main reason because I need one Side Strike to get the last shield from his Togekiss. The Togekiss has so much health that a Side Strike after that will not KO the Togekiss. So I still need 2 Side Strikes just to KO the Togekiss. And then I need another one for that Groudon in the back, which is still alive. So very difficult situation. At this point, obviously it's game over because I don't have any shields. And we're going to get destroyed by this Togekiss. But a lot of mistakes you could see in that matchup. And I hope I explained them well enough so that you guys don't make the same ones if you find yourselves in the same situation. Heading on here in the next matchup, we are currently 3-1. Heading into match number 5 of this first set, we got another Dialga lead. So I'm telling you, this is what I love about these Groudon leads. And you know what? I'm just going to go straight forward again, going for the nuke here on the Dialga. They've shielded every single time so far. Is this going to land? Boom! There it is. One hit KO Groudon. We see Dragonite come in, and look at this. Another mistake. What am I doing? Staying in with the Groudon onto a Dragonite. This is the definition of Wall City. Shout out to Sensei Arata. I remember this matchup, Dragonite onto the Groudon. That is the wall. What I should have done immediately was swap out into the Mewtwo immediately because it has a good matchup here against Dragonite, and I have Melmetal in the back anyways for if they swap out. So I had to immediately swap out into the Mewtwo. I didn't do that, and look at this. I put myself in a precarious situation here. Gonna have to shield up these moves. Now I should still be able to win this in the 2 shields, but it's not the best situation. The opponent actually switched out into Melmetal, so this is actually pretty good for me because I'm going to go for the Focus Blast. This is either going to get the shield or it's going to knock them out. They do shield, and at this point I know that I do have Groudon for the Melmetal. I have my own Melmetal for the Dragonite, so this is looking really good. Again, it is the 2-0 Butters team here, Dialga, Dragonite, Melmetal, so things are looking really good here. The opponent was farming so much energy that I was able to switch out to my Groudon. Now I'm forcing it to throw all that energy onto the Groudon instead, and it can't farm me down with Thunder Shock, so it's forced to throw energy. Has to go for a superpower here as well, or else I will get to the Fire Punch. And since they lowered their attack now and their defense, I'm going to come back in with the Mewtwo because I would expect this Side Strike to probably KO, and the Melmetal has such a dominant matchup against the Dragon in the back that I really felt it wasn't necessary. So they throw the Dragon Claw here because I would have likely have gone into that Side Strike, which would have KO'd. So that's going to knock me out. Now I come in with the Melmetal, shields are down, and I just go instantly for the Rock Slide here instead of farming up extra because I thought that Melmetal got knocked out by the Side Strike. But as you see, the Melmetal is actually still alive, and I wasn't aware of this, so I put my phone down. I was totally caught off guard here, and if they had like maybe 2 superpowers, I could have ended up losing this because I didn't farm extra energy on the Dragonite, but that was only because I did not remember that it was still alive. But we do take that game, end up going 4-1 in that first set, and we jump up to 2980. So we're getting back up there in rating. Next set, Ishii 888 here in the first match, and we are going to be leading Groudon into Giratina Origin. So again, this is probably one of the most difficult leads for Groudon, and also one of the most difficult leads for this team. So I was trying to decide what I wanted to do here. Can't really swap out, so I figured I'm going to try catch the Shadow Ball, build up for Earthquake, go for the bait here. I'm staying in with the Groudon, and I need this to get the shield. It does not. That is the worst feeling ever. So you can see here, I actually build up for another Earthquake, but I go for the Fire Punch, and the opponent doesn't shield. Now I do not think that was a case of them knowing I had Earthquake. I honestly think they didn't think I had enough energy for Earthquake despite having it, because it seemed so quick. I truthfully feel that they just felt I didn't have energy. And I tried going for the Earthquake there again. You could see I didn't get to it, so I didn't even land the Fire Punch. I think if I went for that third Fire Punch, I could have probably got a shield, which would have been very beneficial. I shielded the Shadow Ball, Groudon comes in. Even though Mewtwo has a good matchup, it has a horrible one without shields, so I just choose to back out. A lot of mistakes in that game, did not like it. Went for some baits, they didn't work out. It is what it is, it happens sometimes. Lose that first game. Kevin OG here in the first match. We got a lead we like to see instead. Groudon into Dialga. Now every time they've stayed in, this time they swap out into Landorus. And again, I'm wondering here, I'm like, Landorus, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? The answer is obvious. Swap out into Mewtwo. So what do? I swap out into Melmetal. Oh my gosh. So I catch an Earth Power on the Melmetal, which is horrible. Now I should be able to get to 2 Rock Slides, which will still do some nice damage to the Landorus, but I've basically given up Switch at this point. And against Landorus here, just bring in the Mewtwo. That's a very dominant matchup because Side Strike is on pace with Rock Slide, but it's doing a lot more damage. You maintain Switch very easily just by coming in with Mewtwo. Again, not utilizing Mewtwo in the correct way, and I end up losing Switch. So how are we going to get out of this one? Well, I'm going to come in with the Groudon since I have a lot of energy stored here, and I'm going to go for the Fire Punch, and it doesn't get a shield, so I know I'm going to hit by an Earth Power here. Now, Earth Power is going to hurt, but it's not going to KO, so I don't have to shield this. And I'm going to go for the next Fire Punch because trying to farm down with Mud Shot is going to be very difficult here. So I decided to just get rid of this thing, see what they come in with. It's a Ho-Oh. So I immediately swap out into Mewtwo here. And the important thing about this matchup, you don't want to get hit by an extra Incinerate. They bring in Dialga. You know what that means? We're going for the nuke here. Is this going to get the shield? Boom! There it is, another boom onto the Dialga, saving their shield for the Ho-Oh. And it's very important to not let any Incinerates go through, as I said. So I'm trying to time this perfectly. I go for the Side Strike. So far, so good. This is going to get the last shield. We have a shield left. So all I have to do is get to 2 Side Strikes here. We're going to be good. I'm going to switch out to the Melmetal at some point here to make the Ho-Oh throw its energy here, keep that Mewtwo alive, and it's probably in range of Fire Punch more or less at this point, but I'm going to let this go down. It is an Earthquake, does knock us out. I know it's totally safe to save that shield for the Mewtwo. Just come in here with the Side Strike and take this game. So just remain calm. Made a huge mistake in that secondary matchup, losing Switch, but we were able to come back and pull that game out. YKARTIMA here in the next matchup. And we're going to be leading Groudon into Ho-Oh. So this is one of the worst matchups. This time I'm not playing any games. I come into the correct save swap here. It is a Mewtwo. And again, trying to time those Side Strikes at the right time, not letting any Incinerates go through. Side Strike comes through, they let it go through. That's very good for me because this Ho-Oh could cause problems with a lot of health. So very happy it comes through. When they throw the Brave Bird, I know they're going to switch out immediately, right? So they come in with Zekrom. Now I have a big energy lead here, so I know I'm going to get off 2 Side Strikes here, and they're going to be forced to throw energy or else I'll get to a 3rd. So going to be applying a lot of shield pressure here. This one is going to knock out the Zekrom, or they're going to have to shield, right? I expect the shield to come up. It does. They can't really farm me down here before I get to another Side Strike, so they're forced to throw energy. At this point, I'm going to allow the Mewtwo to go down here. Now I have a decision to make. Do I want to come in with Groudon or the Melmetal? I think I'm going to come in with the Melmetal here, get a bunch of energy stored here, just in case they have something like a Dialga in the back. Imagine Melmetal with energy against Ho-Oh plus Dialga. That's a very scary situation for the opponent, right? So it ends up being a Mewtwo. So I'm actually pretty happy here that I have this energy lead. I'm going to throw the Rock Slide, and then I'm probably going to look to switch out into the Groudon here at some point. Yeah, so there it comes. I was trying to catch a move, but they bring in the Ho-Oh instead. Now you can see, because they're actually so low in health, this is a bad matchup, but these Fire Punches actually are in range of doing some damage, you could see. And the next one should be enough to KO. So I don't think either move here is going to be enough to knock me out. Brave Bird doing a lot, and that actually lowers the defense. So at this point, I know that the Fire Punch is going to KO. So I tried to undercharge a bit, maybe to get some Mud Shots in, but Fire Punch still KOs once that defense is severely dropped. Mewtwo comes in, fortunately does throw energy. So at this point, all I have to do basically is get to 2 Rock Slides. But the more important thing is calling the potential Focus Blast. So is the opponent going to go for the nuke here or bait me? I call it. Boom. That's a shield. And we do not get KO there. At this point now, I could build up for back-to-back Rock Slides. And this means that I'm going to be able to take this game, because they're not going to be able to get to another Focus Blast before that second Rock Slide comes through. We take that game against a very difficult lead in the Ho-Oh. So off to a 2-1 start here in the second set. Sophie 8407 in the next matchup. We are leading Groudon into a Zekrom. Again, another very positive lead for Groudon. You guys see, I really like Groudon. If you have Groudon lead, definitely worth testing out. Build up for the Earthquake here. Going for the Fire Punch bait. Earthquake going to do a lot of damage. Does get the shield. So, probably going to stay in here at this point. Would expect the opponent maybe to switch out too. So I'm going to shield this up. It is an outrage. So that was an amazing shield, obviously. And they switch out. You can see I didn't throw the energy in there because I was anticipating a switch. They wanted to catch that Earthquake onto the Lugia really bad. I did not give them that pleasure. Bring in the Melmetal. This is a lot better for us. Rock Slide going to come through here. And this is a very, very good matchup for Melmetal. Now, Lugia is quite challenging for this team. Another reason why you would probably prefer to have Shadow Ball on your Mewtwo, just in case you get stuck into that matchup. You really do need Shadow Ball to do damage here. But having the Melmetal on it is pretty good. Aeroblast not going to KO. And this should only be a Sky Attack here, so no reason to shield this. And then I could overfarm a little bit before throwing the next Rock Slide. Have some energy ready for whatever comes back in. Could be the Zekrom here. So Rock Slide here, going to knock out the Lugia. We are close to a Rock Slide. Let's see what they come in with. It is the Zekrom. So this Rock Slide is going to get it very, very low. And then if they commit to a farm down with Dragon Breath, I should actually get to another move here, which is going to force the shield. So they do go for the farm down. I get to this superpower. If they want to keep this energy, they have to shield up. They decide to do that, and now they farm me down. I have a shield still to pretty much shield whatever they want to do. I come in with Groudon. They bring in Mewtwo to catch this Earthquake. Totally fine with this. Actually better for me because I have so much energy that I'm actually going to get to this Fire Punch before it even gets to a Side Strike. So we basically eliminate the Mewtwo without it doing anything to us. And now the game is pretty much over. I could just let the Groudon go down here, save the shield for the Mewtwo, get to one Side Strike, and take this game. Now they did lower their defense with the Wild Charge. They got a bit of extra energy, but doesn't matter because look at this. Mewtwo comes in, able to farm down with Psycho Cut. That's how low the defense had gotten to that point. Take that game. 3-1 start here in the second set as we head into the final match of the set, final match of the video against J-Flow. And we are going to be leading Groudon into Mamoswine. So, why I swapped out, I have no idea. I thought that was a lot worse of a match than it actually was. So I already put myself at a pretty bad disadvantage here. And I bring in Mewtwo. Now Giratina Origin comes in. Very bad matchup for us. So I'm going to get 2 Side Strikes. At this point I'm going to get the shield. And I should probably consider letting it go down here. But after thinking I wanted to do that, I realized there's nothing I could come in with and farm down here. There's no farm down pressure on this Giratina. So now I'm forced to shield instead because I have to get off the Side Strike here to get the second shield at the very least on this Giratina. Because I can't farm it down with either Melmetal or Groudon. So very tough situation. And look at this. So what do we have here? We got some classic Go Battle Lag. And this is some long lag. I don't know if I'm supposed to leave the match here back out. I'm supposed to stay in. The Giratina's over there taunting me with its little head. And the game comes back. Fortunately, I did not get farmed down by Shadow Claw. And we got off this Side Strike, which they let go through. I was not expecting that. I get off this Side Strike, which is probably going to get the shield, to be honest, from the Mamoswine. And there it is. It does get the shield. So we're going to get farmed down here. And I'm thinking at this point, do I want to come with Melmetal or Groudon? What I decided I wanted to do was come in with the Groudon and try and catch the Avalanche onto the Melmetal. But I mistimed it. So what am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to try for it again. But what I failed to realize was that they're probably going to go for the farm down instead. And I could have got to that Earthquake. And a lot of mistakes made there. I should have stayed in, went for the Earthquake, forced them to throw the energy, which they probably wouldn't have done, to be honest. I would have got to the Earthquake, I think. Instead, I brought in the Melmetal trying to catch the move they didn't throw. Now I'm forced to throw Superpower because Rock Slide won't be enough to KO in this health range. And I did expect them to have a Dialga in the back. That's what kind of got me mad about this whole game because I pretty much threw. And you can see I do build up for 2 superpowers. So this is going to put it in the red. It's not enough to KO. And I have the Fire Punch ready on the Groudon in the back. The thing is, the only way I win this match is if they do not have an Iron Head ready once this Melmetal goes down. Because if it is CMP tie, I'm going to lose despite having the Fire Punch ready. And of course, they have the Iron Head ready. This is going to knock out the Groudon. We're going to lose that game. Very questionable mistakes made in that game. Very questionable plays, I should say. Switching on the Groudon wasn't exactly necessary in the lead matchup either, but it is what it is. Like I said, it is a learning process. First time playing Master in a while. And look at this, very familiar site, $29.99. So that was the Anti-Dialga team in the Master League Classic. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. I think if you're building a team for a Master League Classic, trying to counter Dialga is probably the best course of action because just about every team is going to have a Dialga in it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.